What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Whiskey Delta, brought to you by Military Gaming League. In this show, we find movers and shakers in the military and veteran gaming community and highlight their contribution to enrich the lives of those around them. As you're going to see soon, our format's leveling up. Over the past few months, we've had the opportunity to speak to veterans across a litany of organizations. These communities have provided venues for veterans to grow and compete in esports, strengthening and enhancing support networks for those in need. Not only does this show entrepreneurship of the community, but also the continued esprit de corps found in the military family. Now and in the coming months, we are shifting focus to more personal and intimate journeys. These episodes, now and future, will highlight the stories of veterans and military service members, how they came to serve, their growth, and triumphs in life. Our guest with this new format, our very own RegdorUSMC, Rodger Allen. And it's going to be fun. I am Mike Karnowski, aka Devil. We're getting into some details. Our guest, Rodger Allen. Rodger, how are you?
I'm doing great. Just happy to be here, Mike.
Yeah, Rodger. It's a fantastic thing to have you on as our first guest, with all of the moving and shaking that we know that you're doing over in the wonderful Midwest, the heart of the United States. So, what are you doing now? You've gotten out recently, and what are you doing now?
So now on one side of the house here at Military Gaming League, I help in content development with segments like this, Whiskey Delta, our Saturday streams, and operation outreach, and some basic graphic design and social media work. On the opposite side, I'm going to college at the University of Central Oklahoma, where there I do a litany of things. I'm part of the student organization for esports at UCO, as well as I am the League of Legends team captain at the college, and developing both those scenes and kind of the local collegiate scene here in Oklahoma.
Holy cow, that's a lot. That's a mouthful, and it just rolled right off the tongue. It was so smooth. It's almost like you practiced that.
Maybe once or twice.
No. So I almost don't even know where to start with that. Let's go into you're not only are you in production management, but you're also still finding time to play games. So what got you into playing games?
Man, I mean, I guess I really started playing like way back in the day. I think elementary school, played on the Super NES, Mario, things like that. But I think what really hooked me was we got an N64, I think about the time PlayStation, like Xbox came out. So we were a little bit behind the generations. But we rented Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time from a Blockbuster. And I just remember staying up late with my siblings, trying to beat the game, trying to do everything we could in it, and just being kind of captured and enthralled in the game, and just this what we thought was a huge world that it had there. And then as I grew older, I got into games like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 9 was one of my favorites. And then I joined the Marines and kind of dropped off from gaming a bit. And then I found League of Legends in like 2013, was playing on a Windows Surface, getting 30 frames. And I thought it was cruising. I thought I was doing great. Then I had some friends pull me into Heroes of the Storm, which brought me to Military Gaming League. And now I play pretty much anything I can get my hands on, but it's been a lot of fun.
So you've been gaming your entire life. Would you say gaming helped get you into the military? So what got you into the military? What was that decision-making process like for you?
For me, it was a lot of things. When I was 14 years old, I moved to Tennessee from North Carolina. And when I went to my freshman year of high school, I learned about JRTC. There was a retired sergeant major there from the Marines who kind of was like, looked at me and said, "Hey, what do you want to do when you grow up?" And I think I said like karate. And he told me, "Well, you're going to be trash unless you have leadership skills. So come join JRTC." And that was good enough of a hook, I guess, to get me into it. And I was really good at it, and I liked it. But the reality for me was that there was no economic future for me in Tennessee. I wasn't especially smart. I wasn't ready to go to college. So I knew that my way out was going to be the military. And I chose the Marines because, well, selfishly, people told me I couldn't do it, told me I was too small or scrawny. So I kind of did it to prove them wrong. And I kind of just always looked up to what Marines were like in my head. So I think that's really why I joined.
So were you doing it to prove it to them or prove it to yourself?
I think a bit of both. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do something. I could bring some sort of economic prosperity for my future. That I could say that I did something less than 1% of Americans ever did joining the military, and even more so than that, joining one of the smallest branches in not only surviving it, but thriving in it.
Do you have any defining moments in your career, any operational experience, anything that really sticks out that kind of shaped you as a Marine and as a leader?
So there's so many. The first one that pops in my head when we talk about defining moments is in 2012, I had left my first duty station in Okinawa, Japan, and I was headed to California to 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines and Infantry Battalion out there in 29 Palms. And as soon as I gave him a call saying like, hey, I'm this new corporal coming to your unit, the only person that was actually on the phone or at the unit to answer was the operations officer. Because everybody was on leave because they had gotten back from a MEU, the 31st MEU out in Okinawa, Japan. So they went out there, trained on ships, went around doing bilateral operations with different countries. But he basically said, hey, man, we've got about 9 months and we're going to Afghanistan. And that was, at least for me, and I think for a lot of young service members, that was kind of like putting yourself to the test. You train, you learn your job, you do all these great things, but it's never really real until you're in that sort of kinetic environment. And so showing up, and as a logistician, I was one of two in my MOS on the enlisted side, one of two of my own job. I had to not only do my job, I had to do it well. I had to do it confidently day in and day out. And I had an amazing group of leaders around me that only expected the best, and they expected me to know my role and be able to build into the bigger picture. Come back from that deployment, I had spent most of my time in Camp Leatherneck, running pretty much the whole support cast for any rotary wing assets going in and out of the AO, transporting personnel and cargo. 3 or 4 different convoys going to all of our outposts and resupply, looking at consumption factors. And of course, the whole force flow from the United States to Afghanistan and back, and getting a whole battalion of Marines through that, it really made me love my job, and it made me feel like I had a very important role that I had to do right. In training, you can shoot a fake enemy. In training, you can run over a fake IED, but you can't have fake water and you can't have fake food. You have to do your job, and you have to do it competently, or else Marines or service members' lives are on the line, regardless of the environment.
Now that you've gotten out of the service, what are some of the challenges that you have come to along the way?
Oh gosh, you're not important anymore. That's the biggest thing. When I was at my last duty station with 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines, I was the logistics chief, or what they call the S4 chief sometimes, in the infantry battalion, with 77 Marines under our charge in one way or another. I worked with, I worked for really one person that was the logistics officer, and I helped mentor 3 different lieutenants, work with other staff and COs to accomplish things and go forth to this multi-billion-dollar account and make things move. You go from that to, I've got comp 1 at 10 a.m. It's quite a change, you miss it. You miss being, as much as you spurned and hated those late night phone calls from some Marine that may have been going to jail, may have messed up, may just needed somebody to talk to missing it, to missing the chaos, missing the hustle and bustle. It was rough there. Luckily, when I'd gotten out, I had maybe 2 weeks between the time I started terminal leave to when my first semester of college started. And so I try to dive full force into college. And that's how I found, the esports student organization and all the things going on with that. But the other thing that really helped me in my success really is Military Gaming League. I found MGL in, 2015, I think, 2014, one of the two. The founder, Travis, good old Shamshield, had put something on Heroes of the Storms, like all chat, saying like, "Are you in the military and like to play Heroes of the Storm? Come join this Discord." I was like, all right, yeah, I'll give it a go. I don't have a lot of friends. Let's do it. And it was an amazing place to see as we grew, all these people who had either done their time and gotten out, still active duty and in the reserves, but showing that whole life cycle, right? From young PFC, Johnny, 18 years old, leaving home, to 20-something-year-olds, 30-something-year-olds, finishing that cycle, getting out, growing their beautiful beards if they can, and doing great things in all these different fields, making video games, as we've seen, starting nonprofits, bridging the gap between military and civilian. And that gave me hope that I could do something that was important. I could do something where I felt needed and wanted, and I could help build that same ecosystem, vice, get not thinking there's anything more than just wake up every day, shave my face, put on my uniform, and go do the job. We can do bigger, we can do better, because there's people doing it right now. So why not me?
So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings our episode to a close. Our guest this evening was RegdorUSMC. Regdor! Sorry, I couldn't resist. I am Mike Karnowski, aka Devil. We got into some details. It was an absolute pleasure with this new format. We look forward to continuing to share it with our audience now and in the future. This is Whiskey Delta. Well done. Thank you for joining us.